Most men I talk to believe that aging means slowing down, losing strength, losing energy, losing that inner fire they used to wake up with. And to be honest, I understand why. Maybe you've noticed it yourself. You don't recover from walks like you used to. You feel more tired after lunch. Your focus isn't as sharp. Food doesn't sit quite the same. And little by little, you start telling yourself, this is just how it is now. But here's what I want you to hear clearly, from a doctor who's worked with men like you for over 30 years. Aging doesn't have to mean getting weaker. Yes, your body changes. Yes, your metabolism slows. Yes, your vessels, your muscles, your joints, they all speak a little softer than they used to. But they're still speaking. They're still listening. And when you give them the right signals, the right fuel, they respond. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, regain clarity, strength, and calm not by chasing youth but by feeding their bodies the way they were designed to be fed. That's where the Mediterranean diet comes in. And let me be clear, this isn't some trendy weight loss fad. It's not about calorie counting or cutting out everything you love. The Mediterranean way of eating is about healing. About restoring blood flow. About calming inflammation. About aging with power, not just passing time. It's how farmers in Greece stayed strong into their 80s. How fishermen in coastal Italy still had their memory, their humor, their heart long after retirement. And it can be your path too. Because the way you eat can shape the way you age. So if you're ready to feel stronger, think clearer, and live the next decade better than the last, don't change everything. Just start with how you eat. Let me show you how the Mediterranean diet isn't just a meal plan, it's a way to age with strength. His name was Greg. 62 years old. A retired mechanic from Arizona. On paper, he looked fine. No major health issues. Still drove. Still did light work around the house. But when he walked into my office, I could tell something had shifted. He sat down across from me, rested his hands on his knees, and said quietly, "Doc, I feel like I'm getting older, faster than I should." He wasn't complaining about pain. It was deeper than that. He said he was tired most mornings. Didn't sleep well. Felt foggy after meals. And just didn't feel like himself anymore. He tried a few supplements. Started walking more. But nothing seemed to change. So I asked him about his food. He told me, pretty normal stuff. Toast and bacon in the morning. Some kind of sandwich at lunch. Dinner's usually meat and potatoes. And sometimes I skip meals when I'm not hungry. I nodded. Because honestly, that's what I hear from most men his age. I looked at Greg and said, what if the way you're aging has more to do with what you're eating than what your birth certificate says? He raised an eyebrow. I don't want to go on a diet, Doc. You don't have to, I said. But what if you just started eating the way your body was actually designed to age? And that's when I introduced him to the Mediterranean style of eating. Nothing extreme. No rules to memorize. Just real food. More color. More healthy fats. Less sugar. More purpose. Greg agreed to try it. We made a simple plan. He swapped toast and bacon for eggs, greens, and olive oil. Started adding beans and fish instead of heavy meats. Traded soda for lemon water. Added fruit, nuts, and fresh herbs to his meals. No calorie counting. No cutting out joy. Just eating with care and rhythm. 3 weeks later, he emailed me, Doc, I've been waking up with energy again. I'm sleeping through the night. And get this, my blood pressure dropped, and I didn't even try. 3 months later, his doctor reduced one of his medications. 6 months in, he was back to hiking every Sunday morning, something he hadn't done in years. But the best part? He looked me in the eye and said, I feel like I'm driving again, not just sitting in the passenger seat, and that's what this is about. Not controlling every bite. not punishing yourself for the past, but choosing foods that help your body come alive again. Because aging isn't the problem. Disconnection is. And once Greg reconnected with real food, with real rhythm, his body remembered how to be strong. And so can yours. Up next, I'll show you exactly what the Mediterranean diet is and why it works so well for men over 60. Let's take a moment to clear something up. The Mediterranean diet isn't a trend. It's not a new idea. And it's definitely not about cutting carbs, skipping meals, or chasing perfection. It's a way of eating that's been around for generations, built by real people, in real communities, who lived long, active lives well into their 80s and 90s. And they weren't counting protein grams or reading food labels. They were eating with rhythm, with connection, and with trust in simple, whole ingredients. So what exactly is it? Here's the short version. Checkmark lots of vegetables and fruits every day, every meal. Checkmark healthy fats, especially extra virgin olive oil instead of butter or heavy oils. Checkmark whole grains like oats, brown rice, and barley. Checkmark beans and legumes, things like lentils, chickpeas, black beans. Checkmark fish, especially oily fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel. Checkmark herbs, spices, garlic, lemon, real flavor, not heavy sauces. Checkmark nuts and seeds, walnuts, almonds, chia, flax. Checkmark moderate dairy like plain yogurt or a bit of cheese. Checkmark and if you drink alcohol, 1 small glass of red wine with a meal, not before bed. But even more important than the foods is how you eat them. Slower. More mindfully. With people you enjoy. Not standing over the sink or rushing between appointments. This way of eating works especially for men over 60 because it addresses the real root of aging problems. Warning inflammation, warning stiff arteries, warning blood sugar swings, warning hormonal decline, warning gut health, warning cognitive fog. And instead of fighting these things with a cabinet full of pills, the Mediterranean diet fights them with food that your body already understands. Food that speaks the same language as your cells. It supports beating heart health, brain clarity, leg circulation, relieved face, stable energy, person in bed, better sleeper, longer vitality. I've seen men lower their blood pressure. I've seen men get off reflux meds. I've seen men say, "Doc, I feel like I finally have fuel in the tank again." And that's the power of this approach. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to shift. Gently, daily. From processed to fresh. From rushed to rooted. Because when you start eating in this way, your body starts remembering how to thrive. And in just a moment, I'll walk you through the first easy step, bringing more color into your meals. Not just for beauty but for blood flow, memory, and strength. Here's the first thing I ask every man to do when he starts eating the Mediterranean way. Add color to your plate. And no, I'm not talking about red licorice or blue sports drinks. I'm talking about real, natural color from plants. Bright greens like spinach, arugula, broccoli. Deep reds from tomatoes, beets, bell peppers. Rich yellows from squash, corn, golden potatoes. Purples from eggplant, red cabbage, blueberries. Oranges from carrots, sweet potatoes, and citrus. Every color does something unique inside your body. Green circle greens support liver function and circulation. Red circle reds help reduce inflammation in blood vessels. Purple circle purples and blues protect your brain and memory. Yellow circle yellows and oranges strengthen your immune system and support your skin and eyes. You see, those colors aren't just pretty, they're made of phytonutrients, natural plant compounds that your body craves after 60. They act like gentle medicine, shield fighting off cell damage, collision boosting your nitric oxide, brain sharpening mental clarity, beating heart and helping your heart beat with less strain. And here's the best part, you don't need to change everything at once. Just look at your next meal and ask, where's the color? If the plate looks beige or brown, you know it's time to add something vibrant. Even a handful of cherry tomatoes. A few slices of bell pepper. Half an avocado. A scoop of roasted carrots. Some spinach stirred into your eggs. One of my patients, Bill, 66, told me, "Doc, I never thought vegetables would make a difference. But ever since I started building a colorful plate, I've had more energy in the morning, and fewer crashes in the afternoon." It's that simple. Color is fuel. Color is blood flow. Color is life. So if you want to feel stronger, start here. Not with a new pill. Not with a strict rule. Just by giving your body a rainbow it can use. And coming up next, I'll show you the one change in your kitchen that might protect your heart more than anything else: your cooking oil. If there's one small change that makes a big difference for the aging heart, it's this: switch your oil. Most men I meet are still cooking with the same oils they used decades ago: canola, vegetable blends, butter, margarine. Maybe it's what they grew up with. Maybe it's just habit. But here's what the science says and what I see in real life: the wrong oils inflame your arteries. The right oils protect them. And the best oil for men over 60? Extra virgin olive oil. I'm not talking about generic cooking spray. I mean the real stuff, cold-pressed, golden green, rich in healthy fats called monounsaturated fats. Here's why it matters. Checkmark olive oil reduces inflammation in your blood vessels. Checkmark it helps lower LDL. Bad cholesterol. Checkmark it boosts HDL. Good cholesterol. Checkmark it improves insulin sensitivity and blood sugar balance. Checkmark and it feeds your brain with the kind of fat it loves most. One of my patients, Earl, 70 years old, used to fry everything in butter. Eggs, potatoes, even toast. He wasn't trying to hurt himself, he just didn't know there was another option. I asked him to do one thing: replace all his cooking fats with extra virgin olive oil for 3 weeks. Nothing else. He drizzled it over vegetables. He cooked his eggs in it. He even added a spoonful to soups and fish. 3 weeks later, he told me his knees felt less stiff, his digestion was better, and he had fewer, heavy, days in the afternoon. That's not coincidence. That's circulation improving from the inside out. You don't need a lot, just a tablespoon or 2 a day. But it has to be quality. Look for extra virgin, cold-pressed, and stored in dark glass bottles. Pro tip: don't overheat it. Use it for light sautéing or add it after cooking. Let the oil work like a healer, not just a flavor. Because for men over 60, olive oil isn't just food. It's protection. And coming up next, we'll talk about the protein that helps your heart beat strong without weighing your body down: real fish, not fried fish. If there's one protein your heart loves more than any other, it's not steak. It's not chicken. It's fish. But not the kind battered in flour, soaked in oil, and dropped in a deep fryer. I'm talking about real fish, grilled, baked, or gently pan-seared in olive oil, lemon, and herbs. Fish, especially oily fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, or trout, is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and omega-3s are like medicine for the aging heart. Here's what they do. Checkmark: lower inflammation in your arteries. Checkmark: support healthy blood pressure. Checkmark: improve heart rhythm and reduce risk of arrhythmia. Checkmark: boost brain function and protect memory. Checkmark: support healthy testosterone levels and mood. After 60, your body produces less of these fatty acids on its own. And unless you're eating fish regularly, you're probably not getting enough. I had a patient, David, 68. He hadn't touched fish in years. Said he didn't like the smell. Said it was too much work. So we started small. 1 meal, twice a week. He picked baked salmon with garlic, olive oil, and lemon. 10 minutes in the oven. No heavy sauces. No frying. 2 weeks in, he said, "Doc, I don't know if it's the fish or what, but I've got more mental clarity and less afternoon slumps." It wasn't magic. It was his heart getting what it needed. And here's the best part: you don't need fancy recipes. You just need a plan. Grill salmon with herbs. Open a can of wild sardines and eat them with avocado. Sauté trout fillet in olive oil with a side of greens. Bake mackerel with lemon and capers. If it swims and shines, your arteries probably want it. And if you're not ready for fish yet, start with omega-3 rich seeds like chia and flax, which we'll cover soon. But if you are ready, fish is a game changer. Not just for your heart but for your joints, your brain, your mood, and your energy. Just make sure it's cooked clean. Because deep frying good food in bad oil undoes the very thing your body needs most. Simple fish. Simple prep. Big results. And next, I'll show you how one tiny change in your snack routine can protect your heart without giving up satisfaction. Let's talk about something real. Snacking. We all did. Especially in the late afternoon when lunch feels like a memory and dinner feels too far away. You walk into the kitchen, you're not starving, but your hands are already reaching for something salty. Something crunchy. Something familiar. Chips, crackers, pretzels. Maybe even a cookie or two. And listen, I'm not here to shame you. You're human. You've earned the right to enjoy your food. But what if I told you that you could satisfy that same craving and at the same time feed your heart? Because there's one snack that's deeply satisfying, easy to store, and packed with nutrients that protect aging arteries: nuts. Almonds. Walnuts. Pistachios. Cashews. Even a small handful of sunflower seeds. These tiny powerhouses are filled with checkmark healthy fats that reduce inflammation, checkmark magnesium to support blood pressure, checkmark fiber that helps with digestion and cholesterol balance, checkmark plant-based protein to keep blood sugar stable, checkmark and natural compounds that support artery flexibility. I had a patient named Harold, 71. He used to snack on chips during his evening news routine. Not a lot, just a bowl. But it became a habit. And over time, his cholesterol crept up. His energy dipped by dinner. He started feeling bloated after meals. I suggested one thing: Harold, swap the chips for a small handful of raw almonds or walnuts. Just for a week. No pressure. He did it. Not because he was sold on the science but because he trusted our conversation. A week later, he smiled and said, "I thought I'd miss the crunch. But the nuts, they actually satisfy me more. And I don't feel as heavy afterward." It's those little swaps that change how you feel day after day. Now, I'm not asking you to eliminate snacks. I'm asking you to upgrade them. From processed salt to heart protective fats. From empty crunch to nutrient-dense fuel. Just one small handful a day, preferably raw or lightly roasted, without added sugar or oils, is all it takes. And if you pair those nuts with a few berries or a slice of fruit, you've got a snack that fuels your brain, protects your heart, and keeps your energy steady without the crash. So next time you reach into the cabinet, pause. Breathe. And ask yourself, is this snack helping me feel stronger or slower? Then grab the thing that brings you life. And next, we'll tackle a question I hear all the time: should men over 60 drink red wine or skip it altogether? It's one of the most common questions I get when talking to men about healthy aging. "Doc, what about red wine? Some say it's good for your heart. Others say it's risky." You read one article that says it helps, and another that says it harms. So let me give it to you straight. The truth about red wine after 60 comes down to one word: balance. Now, here's why red wine gets all the attention. It contains a natural plant compound called resveratrol, found in grape skins, especially in darker red varieties. Resveratrol has been shown to checkmark improve endothelial function, that's your vessel lining, checkmark support nitric oxide production, checkmark act as an antioxidant and reduce inflammation, checkmark possibly protect brain and memory health over time. So yes, a small glass of red wine, taken with a meal, not on an empty stomach, may offer some circulatory benefits. But here's the key: small means 4 to 5 ounces. That's about half of what most restaurant pours give you. And it's not every night for everyone. I had a patient, Victor, 67, who used to enjoy 2 glasses of wine every evening. One while cooking, one with dinner. He told me it helped him relax. And sure, it did, for a while. But over time, he noticed his sleep became fragmented. His blood pressure started climbing. He had more belly weight and more sluggish mornings. We scaled it back to 1 glass, a few nights a week paired with food, not TV. And within 3 weeks, his sleep improved, his energy lifted, and his digestion settled down. Here's the deal. If you already drink wine, and you enjoy it responsibly with meals, you probably don't need to stop. Just stay mindful. Space it out. Choose quality over quantity. But if you don't drink at all, don't start just for health reasons. You can get resveratrol from grapes, blueberries, or even a small square of dark chocolate. And if alcohol has ever been an issue for you, even a little, your heart's best path may be completely alcohol-free. And that's not weakness. That's wisdom. Because the Mediterranean way of eating? It's not about wine. It's about presence. About joy. About eating in a way that restores, not numbs. So whether you enjoy a sip or pass on the glass, make the choice that leaves you clear, calm, and in control. And up next, I'll show you why this isn't really a diet at all, it's a lifestyle. And that's where the real transformation begins. By now, you've probably noticed something. None of this is about rules. I haven't asked you to weigh your food, count every carb, or give up your favorite meals forever. Because the truth is, the Mediterranean approach isn't a diet. It's a lifestyle. And that shift in mindset is what makes it sustainable, especially for men over 60. See, diets are built on restriction. No bread, no fat, no flavor, they turn eating into a battle. A list of don'ts. And sooner or later, most men give up, not because they failed, but because the plan never fit real life to begin with. But a lifestyle? That's different. A lifestyle is something you grow into. It fits alongside your habits, your values, your pace. It leaves room for enjoyment, connection, and flexibility. That's what the Mediterranean way offers. Green salad, eating fresh, real food, baguette bread, enjoying meals slowly, not behind a screen, shallow pan of food, cooking at home more often, with olive oil, herbs, and intention, wine, sharing a small glass of wine with dinner, if it serves you, people holding hands, and most importantly, eating with people you care about. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. I had a patient, Marcus, 72. He said the biggest change wasn't what he ate, it was how he ate. He used to eat standing up, in the car, late at night, or in front of the TV. Now? He sits at the table. Plates the food. Takes a breath before the first bite. And even if he's eating alone, he treats the meal with respect. And in return? His digestion improved. His blood pressure eased. And he started sleeping through the night again. You see, food isn't just fuel. It's a signal. It tells your body, you're safe. You're supported. You're worth slowing down for. And that's the kind of message every man over 60 needs more of. So don't treat this like a 30-day challenge. Treat it like a way back to yourself. To strength. To clarity. To the rhythm your body still remembers and deeply craves. And coming up next, I'll leave you with a final word, a reminder that it's never too late to start eating for strength. Maybe you've heard it said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you're not a dog. And you're not old in the way they think. You're experienced. You've lived. You've seen enough to know what matters. And more importantly, you've still got fight in you. So let me say this clearly, from one human to another, you are not too late. Not for strength. Not for clarity. Not for health. Your body hasn't given up. It's been waiting for rhythm, for nourishment, for food that speaks its language again. And now you have the tools: olive oil over margarine. Brainfish instead of fried. Rainbow color on your plate, not just in your memories. Basket real meals, real food, real moments. Not restriction. Not rules. Just restoration. So if you've spent years eating on the go, skipping breakfast, numbing stress with snacks or drinks, I get it. You did the best you could, with what you had, and what you knew. But now you know more. You know how the Mediterranean way isn't a diet. It's a return to energy, to dignity, to strength you thought you lost. So tomorrow morning, before the news plays, before the phone rings, before the world pulls you in pause, look at your plate. And ask yourself, is this meal building me, or breaking me? Then make a small shift. Add color. Switch the oil. Swap the snack. Eat seated. Breathe. Because every time you do, you're not just feeding your body, you're honoring your future. And that future? It's still yours to shape. So if this message speaks to you, if something in you says, I'm ready, then start today. And if you already have, leave a comment. I'm eating my way back to strength. Because your story might just be the one that gives another man the courage to pick up his fork and begin again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And thank you for choosing yourself one plate at a time.